Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host. I'm your brains coach, also probably brain trainer and brain nutritionist. And it is my job here to bring to you all the best cutting edge, new, recent, most useful brain body tools so you could take control of your brain, learn how to use it better, make better decisions, take better actions, feel better, and design the exact life experience that you want. So that's what we are all about here. And I'm still thinking about the name for our movement, maybe brain hackers. What do you think? If you have an idea, let me know via email, angela@brainbreakthroughcoach.com. Today, we are continuing our conversation about energy management. Energy is everything. I like to repeat over and over and over again, energy is the currency of life. The amount of energy, how energized and powerful and strong, energy, is all of that. How energized you feel going to define how motivated you feel, what you're going to do in your day, and your your daily energy level is how your life gonna be. If you don't feel that energetic, you're not going to feel all that motivated. You're not going to feel all that pumped to take actions needed to take your life where you need to take it. Energy is everything. And whenever I talk about energy, whenever I give a talk about energy and talk about different aspects of lifestyle and our psychology and what we do throughout the day, our environment, whenever I talk about energy, people listen because we deep down, or even not that deep down, we understand that everything that we don't want to do, everything that we are escaping, but we know we kind of have to do it if we want to move our life forward. We know that at the bottom of all of it, or at the base, it's all our energy levels. And when we procrastinate on things that are important to us, it's all because of energy. When we don't engage in the challenging conversations that build our relationship, move our relationship forward, we also are probably not that energized. We feel kind of low. And also the quality of our work, how we show up for our clients, how we show up for our customers, it all depends on how much energy we have. So how do you manage that energy state? Now, obviously, a healthy lifestyle, healthy habits, all of that is foundational. But also very often you just simply do the wrong things at the wrong time. And because of that, your energy is all over the place. Like on Monday, we talked about how changing the way you consume your coffee makes a huge difference in your energy levels, how you feel sleepy or ready to go, dialed in, focused, and taking action, right? So listen to that episode. Yesterday, somebody commented on my Instagram, on my coffee post about how actually it's the adrenal fatigue. It's people over consuming coffee and them being tired that causes that, crash after coffee. There is, of course, there are like different reasons. If somebody doesn't sleep enough all the time, they're going to be fatigued and going to feel crashed all the time. But when it comes to caffeine, and adrenal fatigue, there is actually no evidence that caffeine in normal amounts causes any workout or any load on your adrenals. No, that's not what happens. Not why most people feel crash after their coffee. For most people, it's simply taking that caffeine in the wrong time, in the wrong amounts, and also very often pairing it with the wrong kind of thing, like for example with high sugary item. Adrenal fatigue, there is no actually such thing as far as science is concerned. So listen to that episode on Monday about how to consume coffee so you get the energy, the focus boost without the crash that then you have to kind of again mitigate with coffee, and that can of course backfire when it comes to quality of your sleep. So listen to that episode we did on Monday. Today we are talking about food, because food is a huge factor in your energy levels. And today we're not gonna dig deeper into different nutrients that affect the way your cells create energy. No, that's not what we're gonna talk about. We would need to have probably several episodes on that if I were to cover all the energy creation processes when it comes to connection to the foods we eat, to the nutrition. Now, today we're going to talk about different kinds of foods that cause your energy crash, or cause your energy spikes and crash, the energy fluctuation. The kinds of food that you eat affect your blood sugar. So if something spikes your blood sugar fast and high, there is a probability that then it's going to crash low and fast. And your blood sugar is something that your focus is dependable on that blood sugar. Your energy levels, whenever your blood sugar crashes, you're going to feel low in energy. You're going to feel sleepy. For a lot of people, it's also going to manifest as anxiety, as jitterness, as feeling, shaky or impatient or frustrated, and stress. So those blood sugar fluctuations will also not allow you to stay focused, will not allow you to get into flow state. Blood sugar fluctuations, like those high spikes and low crashes, are a huge factor in your productivity. So you need to do your best to make sure that the foods that you eat do not cause that spike and that crash. That's like factor number one. Factor number two is blood circulation. Whenever you have a lot of food in your stomach, your blood literally goes to your stomach from your brain. Like, that's the process that happens. Thinking and digesting food are two very complex, very resource and blood flow demanding processes. And when you have a lot of stuff in your stomach, whatever stuff you have in your stomach, if you just ate something, blood flow will go to your stomach. To what degree will depend on how much food is there. So if there is a lot of food, and I'm kind of already starting to explain to you, a lot of blood flow going to go to your stomach, and you're going to feel like kind of hazy, kind of not that focused, kind of sleepier, also when it comes to your productivity, when it comes to your brain. So the managing this, balancing this equation or state, your blood sugar and your blood flow, that's what good meals allow you to do. So now let's get to practicality. In the morning, what mistakes, what eating, nutrition, food mistakes people do that cause that energy fluctuation, that blood sugar fluctuation, that blood flow fluctuation. And the first thing I actually want to start not with food, but with hydration. Even 2% dehydration will cause you to feel foggy, distracted, not that focused. Your brain doesn't work well with the lack of water in you. Sipping on water, by the way, and when you speak, by the way, your whole system, like your voice, requires a lot of that water to produce the sound. So when you speak, you do need more water to make your voice sound better, but also to make your brain work better. So hydration. A lot of people I worked with, when we start working together, I find out that they don't drink much water in the morning. And folks, you sleep for, let's say, 8 hours, 7, 8, 6, whatever hours, but it's a huge chunk of time when you don't move and you don't get any water. And your cells, by the time you wake up, are quite thirsty. And there is a lot of garbage or byproducts of metabolism to take out. And your brain also doesn't have that much water. It's already dehydrated. So if you don't start your day with that water, please do not expect to be highly productive. What is recommended, and this is based on research, based on science, you need to, upon waking, after you woke up, in the first 10 hours, you need to be drinking a glass of water per hour, around a glass of water per hour on average. Now, obviously, a 2-meter person and someone that is more like myself, 165 centimeters, or someone not as tall will require less water, but it's still somewhere in the realm of 1 glass per hour. Again, probably for the tall person, it's going to be maybe a couple of glasses. And that you need to start as soon as you wake up, especially when you wake up. I recommend to all of my clients start with half a liter of that water because you've been sleeping. So get this shower from inside out. Allow your cells to remove all the garbage. That alone will make you feel much better. And that will also make energy production more effective when your cells have water. So you're going to feel more energized. It's going to hydrate your brain. And we just mentioned 2% dehydration already will cause problems with your brain performance. So you need to hydrate. You need to create that. You need that water to create that energy. So glass of water, 250 milliliters per hour, first 10 hours of your waking. And that's probably all the water you'll need. And a lot of that water you need to get in the morning. Now, a word of caution, do not drink more than a liter at one sitting. Your kidneys also have capacities to filter out that water. You can actually die by drinking too much water too fast. But again, half a liter, more up to a liter is okay. I always recommend start with that, half a liter or at least a big glass of water upon waking. So that will help you to stay energized. And then throughout that morning, keep drinking that water. I usually recommend to all of my clients have some sort of bottle that they can measure the amount of they drink. I have half a liter of bottle, half liter bottle of water, and I drink that water every 2 hours. So if I look at my clock and 2 hours passed and my water is still there, so I just drink it right then and there. But for sure, when you wake up, start it with that water, a huge glass of water. Then to food. So you want to probably start your breakfast somewhere around 1-2 hours after your waking time. That's when your digestive system is, especially if you drank your water and, you moved a little bit, that's when your digestive system is ready to get that breakfast. But, if you only have half an hour to get that breakfast, then get that breakfast then and there, or maybe take it with you. That's even better. And in that breakfast, where a lot of people make mistakes, they do not get their protein. And protein is needed to create all of the things in your body, to run all of the reactions. But specifically, it's needed to create certain neurotransmitters or brain molecules of focus, like dopamine. Super crucial for your focus, for your attention, for learning, for a motivation to get things done, for moving you into action. So your dopamine needs that protein. And again, protein is needed for almost, if not all, the reactions that are happening in your body. Energy creation will require protein, all the things that your brain, your body do will require that protein. And plus, it's the most satiating nutrient. You're not going to feel full until you eat that protein. The protein helps you maintain balanced blood sugar. So get that protein. Again, when I start working with my clients, a lot of my clients I don't want to have many breakfasts. Well, if you're not a breakfast person, start with a protein shake. Literally start with a protein shake and then see how you feel. My clients report that when they start that protein in the morning, also they don't experience that much of a crash in the afternoon. They're not that hungry. They don't binge for dinner. So many good things will happen when you start getting that protein. The amount 30-40 grams of protein, that doesn't mean 30-40 grams of any sorts of food, but 30-40 grams of actual protein. If you're not sure and you decide to have food like maybe eggs, maybe whatever else in your breakfast, just make sure that you do get those 30-40 grams, because for example, eggs, one egg is just 6 grams of protein. It's like nothing. So get those 30-40 grams. That's why for a lot of people, having that protein shake in the morning actually works really well. So get that protein. That's your priority after water. That's your priority number 2. Your priority number 3 is not get anything that's going to make your blood sugar, the blood sugar that we talked about, spike and crash. And that would happen if you consume something with processed sugars, with added sugar. Somebody asked me the other day, what about orange juice, like fresh squeezed orange juice and all the vitamins and minerals? It's still very highly processed liquid source of sugar. Yes, there are vitamins, but I always tell my client, eat your orange, drink your water. Why eating your orange makes it different? Because there is fiber that your body has to break down, and that process will release sugars in a slower, in a more steady, in a more balanced fashion, and you're not going to be spiking and crushing after chewing your fruit like you would after orange juice. So remember, folks, liquid sugar is the worst kind of carbohydrate for your blood sugar. For most people, it will create a spike and crash unless, you just finished your hard workout and you're going to replenish that glycogen, and that sugar going to be sucked up by your muscles directly. Unless that is the scenario, but then also, again, be very careful with liquid sugars when it comes to your productivity. Also, all of your coffee drinks, tea drinks, if there is sugar, and in most coffee shops, if that has flavor, it probably has sugar. By the way, all your oat milks, almond milks, like whatever you add to your coffee, if you get it in a coffee shop and if you don't buy it yourself, most probably in 99.9% of the cases also has sugar. Not a lot of it, so, don't panic, but just be aware. Also, anything that's made out of white flour, pastries, cookies, croissants, for a lot of people will create that spike and crash dynamic. So you're going to feel energized for a moment there, and then you crash and you're going to feel sleepy and you're going to feel like you need another coffee. So that's where your energy management suffers. You get that sugar, you don't get that protein, you don't get any vitamins and minerals, you don't hydrate, and that's going to compromise your energy creation, your blood sugar regulation, and your blood flow as well. Make sure that for breakfast also and for lunch, when you need to stay productive throughout the day, you don't get that much food that all of your blood flow goes to your stomach all of a sudden, and you feel crushed and you feel sleepy and you feel like you need to be sitting there and digesting food and you can't even think. So don't be in that situation. For a lot of people, what works, maybe a couple of pieces of fruit like banana, orange for breakfast, and that protein, maybe that protein shake, perhaps also eggs and yogurt, maybe yogurt with protein shake that makes it high protein and exactly the amount of protein you need. What else? Couple of walnuts for the essential fats. If you eat eggs, there is fat already and you're good to go. Like, don't load up with a lot of food. Then let's move on to the lunch. So breakfast, what you need to understand, hydration, number 1. Number 2, your protein, and don't consume processed sugars. Eat a banana, eat an orange, maybe a couple, and see how you feel after. Then moving to lunchtime. Lunchtime is when you naturally gonna experience some sort of dip in your alertness, in your productivity, in your energy levels. The worst thing you can do with that is have big lunch, and that's when you definitely gonna fall asleep or at least feel very, very unproductive, and even coffee probably will not help you. So instead, tomorrow we're gonna talk, by the way, about other energy management tools like exercise, like different kinds of meditations. But today we're talking about food. So when it comes to food and when it comes to lunch, keep it simple, keep it light. Something like a salad with a lot of protein, better stay on the side of leaner protein, not something too fatty, not too much fatty dressing, nothing fried, because all these fats, especially fried fats, they actually will take a lot of digestive power. Fats, by the way, if you didn't know, the hardest for your stomach, for your digestive system to digest, and they move the slowest through your digestive tract. All it means is that if you consume a lot of fat, it's gonna make the job for your digestive system harder, and for you it means more probability of feeling sleepy. So keep it on a low fat side during lunch. Have something like a salad, have something like protein. So for me, for lunch, I absolutely love having a mixed green salad with some seeds, with some nuts, with perhaps some squash or pumpkin in there for that whole food carbohydrate, maybe some lentils or quinoa, and some fish, either like tuna or maybe shrimp or sardines also. And I don't go heavy on dressing at all, usually very low fat and very little of the dressing. And that, when you have that lunch, if you feel like something on a sweeter side, then a piece of fruit as a dessert. And if you have that lunch, you're going to feel energized, you're going to feel invigorated, and you might even pass through that afternoon dip altogether. So keep it protein rich, keep it lighter on fat, keep those fresh ingredients like greens and fruit in it, no orange juice, again, chew your orange, and have that lunch and see how you feel. Some people also love having some sort of vegetable soup and then also have protein, and a lot of people notice that when they start having biggish breakfast in terms of, a lot of protein and some additional fats and perhaps either fruit or some carbohydrate, smaller lunch, because again, you're going to experience that dip in alertness naturally. And then for dinner, you can have a little bit more food, a little bit on a heavier side, because of course, you don't need to stay alert and focused. If you do, then keep your dinner also on a lighter side. So let's stick to lunch. So something like greens, something like soups, salad, maybe tuna, maybe shrimp, maybe your favorite piece of other meat, maybe like grilled, whatever meat you have. And then for dessert, fruit. See how you feel. I'm sure you're going to feel a lot better than having some sort of processed lunch or no lunch at all. For most people, having some food will work better than no food. And then for dinner, now there are two variations. If you don't really have anything important to do after dinner, maybe some studying, chilling with your family, with your friends, then probably having a little bit more carbohydrates, a little bit more fat, a little bit more food, and feeling more relaxed, more chill is gonna help you to that quieter, slower part of the day. If, on the other hand, sometimes I have talks, sometimes I have still clients after my dinner, sometimes I have a lot of studying to do and I need my brain to be fully on. So in that scenario, I would still keep my dinner on a lighter side. And for me and for most people, it would mean go easier on carbohydrates. So don't go and eat pasta and pizza, but instead have something like whole food carbohydrates. Beans, lentils are especially beneficial because they have the most fiber, the least sugars, and they are digested very slowly, and they help to they help to also move stuff throughout your digestive tract more effectively due to fiber. So have some beans, have some lentils. Protein, keep it on a leaner side, because again, back to the idea that fat makes digestion harder and slower. So here we're talking about leaner cuts of meats, a leaner fish, shrimp is lean already, so anything that is on the leaner side will help you to keep your brain online. So beans, lentils, some fish, some greens, some salads, fruit again for dessert, and keep the amount manageable. So again, your digestive system doesn't take all of the blood flow, And that is if you need to keep working, keep studying, and keep using your brain heavily. And if you don't, then you might have, if you like your pastas or more carbohydrates or something a little bit fattier, maybe fattier meat, fattier fish, etc. Maybe, this time you're going to have some dessert, and then have it. But then do expect to feel on a more chill, relaxed, sleepier side. And that's about it. That's what I wanted to share with you today about food, nutrition, and how you can use that to manage your energy so much better for the goal that you have. So for example, again, if it's beginning of the day, if it's middle of the day, and you want to stay productive, you again probably want to stay alert and focused, and so your blood sugar is balanced. That is needed for, again, that focused state. And so you want to keep your food light, not making your blood sugar spike and crash, not making your blood flow going all the way to the stomach. And so let's again walk through everything. In the morning, you start with hydration, because that is needed for your brain, for your energy creation, for every single process. Start with big gulp, big glass, big cup, at least 250 milliliters. And by the way, first 10 hours of waking, a glass of water is a great idea per every hour. You start your breakfast with 30-40 grams of protein. If you're not sure how much protein in your food, Google it. If you need carbohydrates, like I love my fruit in the morning, I have a couple of bananas, couple of guavas, have those carbohydrates in whole food form, so your blood sugar doesn't spike and crashes. Then moving to lunch, we're gonna have a lighter lunch, something like a salad or a soup. Again, protein to keep your focus going, your dopamine flowing, not too heavy, not too big, because you're already gonna experience deepen your alertness, focus, energy, and productivity. And for dinner, depending on what you do after dinner, either keep it lighter with carbohydrates and fats, but still keep that protein there, so it keeps you alert and focused and productive and energized. So either keep it lighter or keep it heavier with carbohydrates and fats, and then expect to feel chill, relaxed, and ready to transition to sleep shortly. And by the way, if you want to have a good quality of sleep, that is the foundation of your productive and energized day. Don't forget to finish your food 2-3 hours before sleep. The heavier the dinner, the earlier you want to finish it. For me, I usually finish my dinner 4 hours before sleep. That just works the best for me. And that's it. Thank you, folks, for listening. Thank you for tuning in. By the way, in the show notes, you're going to find the link to our pajama-friendly audio event. This Thursday, we are back on at 6:30 European time, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Find the link to this 30-minute audio event in the show notes, where we're going to talk more about energy management and about Dawn-to-Dusk productivity. That's the name of the event, Dawn-to-Dusk productivity. Find the links at the link in the show notes. And don't forget to share this episode with your loved ones, your co-workers, your teammates, because if you want people around you to be on the same wavelengths, on the same energy vibe, then share this episode and practice it together. Besides, practicing together will help you to keep accountable and practice it better yourself. So check out the link, share, and manage your energy well to keep the vibe going, to keep yourself productive. And having said that, thank you, folks, for listening. Thank you for your attention, and I'll speak to you very soon.